What's up, family? My name is SURAFEL. Welcome to Limitless. I guess I'm gonna call it Limitless 2.0 because a while back we tried to start a podcast and we only uploaded one video, and then for whatever reason we couldn't make it. But this time we're here. We're here to stay.
Got the
And
G-shot, they got their hand out. I'ma tell me what's the giveaway. Show us for the challengers who wanna play the devil's game. Brick wall without an exit, feel like Ben Sim. Put me in that dirty box, I come on like Fresh Prince. Blessing that I'm thankful for, barely even coughing. Big world, so it's easy to get lost in. Till I touch a M, I don't know the word exhausting. Till I touch a M, I don't know the
Before
word
I keep,
exhausting.
I'm
Till I
going
touch a M,
into
I don't know the word
the
exhausting.
podcast, I just want to say thank you to people who actually stood, behind us, who encouraged us. There are so many people out there over social media through Clubhouse that actually believe in Limitless, and most of them, they can't even wait until the whole thing comes out. So I really appreciate those people who are giving us a kind of backbone and pushing us uh, from the back and saying, keep going. So I just want to say thank you. So I want to give a little bit of background. So we started Limitless as a street brand, and it is still a street brand. And but we started from the fashion aspect of it. So we wanted to fill a void where, when it comes to street fashions, you don't really see a lot of graphics that represents black and brown people. There are some, but not a lot. And at the same time, also there's no image that actually empowers us, that talks about that, trying to break the stereotype and puts image where other people think it's ugly, but it's a stereotype that's put in by other people, whether as through the community or society. So we wanted to break that. The same time, we also wanted to empower people, and the whole message of Limitless is saying that you are limitless. There's nothing that can stop you, and through whatever problem and struggle that you're going through, and you still can make it on top. And but there is so many voices that comes from every direction, whether it's from the our community, whether it's from yourself, whether from another community, it doesn't matter. But even in general, from your society, is telling you that you cannot make it. And so we wanted to say, yes, you can make it. So that was the whole idea of it. But saying all that, halfway through the process, we realized that instead of starting from the material, from the fashion, and we wanted to start the conversation first. So that was the whole idea of the podcast. We wanted to know if the conversation actually impacts so many people, that people believe on the brand, on the name, and saying that, okay, if they really understand the vision, if they really understand what the brand is about, it will be easy for them to wear the clothing, the same time also feel the same feeling that the clothing is trying to represent, and also feel it from the inside. So if they feel limitless from inside, and as well as if they're wearing the clothes, that's a win-win. So we wanted to find those people who will believe in the vision. So that's the reason we wanted to start the podcast. So when we started the podcast, we had this half notion of what Limitless was about. There is a reason that I said half notion, and we thought it was about being successful, being having a black excellence in being the best entrepreneur and being the best businessman, or in your work area, excelling. So all those, even though they're excellence and they're amazing, and that's part of our vision, but we actually almost missed the foundation of what Limitless was about, which is being the best human being that possible that you can be. And we didn't realize that by ourselves. So it took a very horrible tragedy in our life for us to realize that. So in September 18, 2021, I lost my brother-in-law and my wife's brother. He was very young. He was 23. He had epilepsy, so the epilepsy led to, he gets seizures here and there, but this time the seizure led into cardiac arrest, and so we lost him. So it was a huge shock, and we didn't know what to do, and we didn't expect it, and we were planning so many things. We were assuming so much things in the future. This just brought like a it was like a bombshell. Basically, it was really huge. So how did we learn, and how did that impacted us? And for me, my brother-in-law Mati was a we became almost the best friend. And um, outside, actually, most people didn't know that we were brother-in-laws, because when we went outside, we never said we were brother-in-law. We always said we were brothers. And a lot of people that knows me from different place, they used to get confused, because I have my blood brother, and so they thought, oh, like, is he your second brother? So we had that tight relationship, and losing him, it did damage to myself. It did damage to the entire house. And so that was the reason, Limitless disappeared. And for most of those of you who are close to the to our social media knew that right after we started the campaign, which was in August, and we just disappeared after September. So that was the reason that we just, it didn't feel right, and at the same time we couldn't even do it, and it wasn't possible to do it. So we left. So how did we learn the lesson? The day of the funeral, so many people came out. It was they were saying, I don't know, but they were saying there was almost like 400 people, even though it was through the pandemic. And out of those, about, I can say, 50 to 100 people were youth, the same age as him. And then after everything was done, they started coming to us, telling us who Mati was. As a person, we knew, he's a very compassionate person. He has a very big heart, and he's always caring for people. We know that. And they came in, they started telling us, he impacted our life, and we were depressed. And if it wasn't for Mati, and some of them, they were saying, if it wasn't for Mati, they wouldn't be around. If it wasn't for Mati, they wouldn't be alive. Some of them, they're saying that if it wasn't for Mati, I will be homeless. And we start asking what happened, and they're saying that, like, he always knows how to stand, how to give shoulder to people. They said he always knew. They said as simple as him eating his own food outside. If his friends are standing around and they don't have food, he doesn't feel right for him to eat that food by himself unless he buys it for everybody. So he was that kind of person. And they give, and to the point we were so shocked that we started recording it. And if I can, I'm gonna post it on Instagram, a short clip for you guys to see. And they were saying that this is who he was, and he impacted so many people. And we're sitting here, and we're saying we want to start this, Limitless, to empower people in a certain aspect. Yet this was the foundation. The foundation was to be the best human being that you can possibly be. The foundation was for you to stand on, beside someone, for you to give a shoulder. And the funny thing is, going through the condition that he had his own struggle. He sometimes used to get stressed about it, and we used to have a conversation. Even while he's going through that, the amount of people that he impacted was out of this world. And it shocked me, for me, here, sitting here thinking that I'm the oldest person, and I'm gonna put some kind of influence in him, for him to, to be successful in this world. Yet he's sitting down, he's touching so many people that I didn't even know about, and he never talked about it. Nobody knew about it. It was behind the door. That, for me, it was the epitome of what Limitless was. It was just like, he brought the word into a pinnacle. Like, it was just an amazing experience for me to see that, for to know that the person that I knew, even though I knew the compassionate, the person he was, how compassionate he was, the heart that he has, but for me to see how the magnitude of impact that he put on people, it was very, very, very impressive. So that just completely flipped the idea that we had when it comes to Limitless. And he was just touching one person at a time, and they were talking about it like, we met on different time. Some of the guys, they didn't even meet each other, they don't even know each other. He had friends from all over the place, and on those friends, they never seen each other before, but they all were saying the same thing. And so we realized that Limitless was about, showing up for people while you have your own problem, while you have your own struggle. It's coming up and saying that I'm gonna stand with you. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. And a lot, most people, they said, "Oh, I'm gonna help someone. I'm gonna help so and so, or I'm gonna start a foundation, or I'm gonna go and help a shelter. When I have a little bit more money." But he showed us an example. Like, you don't need a dime for you to impact people. Just who you are is what actually impacts people. So, and knowing, he knew how to pull people up. And the funny thing is, a lot of times, and most of the times when people, including myself, I used to say, it's like, once I get a certain level, I make sure that I pull people up. But that wasn't the idea. Well, the idea was, the true meaning of human being was, while you're in hole, while you're struggling, while you yourself is trying to come out, yet the person who's beside you is trying to come out, you give a hand to that person as well. So you're pushing one another instead of just pulling, because most of the time we know in our mind, we say, when someone say we got to pull people up, you're always thinking that that person is up there, so now he's turning around helping the people that need it. Yeah, people do that. But also, while you're in the hole, while you're in the ditch, you are pulling one another, you are pushing one another. Sometimes you even, saying, no, you go first. That's what Limitless was about. Sometimes sacrificing a little bit that you have and saying, you know what, I can make it after you, but you need it more. You go first. You come out first, and then when you make it, I'll follow you. That was what Limitless was about. And embracing our process, where we're going, and saying that, I'm messed up. I know I'm messed up, just as you are, but we can do it together. So for him to put that much of impact on people, and then for us to see, on the other hand, we're trying to impact people, and we're trying to represent and trying to create some kind of influence for us to impact so many people, and yet he was doing it in a closed door, and nobody knew about it. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He didn't have anything, but yet he impacted so many people, that those people, now I'm sitting down and imagining, the amount of people he impacted, the amount of seed that he put in those people. Imagine if the same people went out and impacted. That is exactly what Limitless was about. Creating a conversation that will impact people, and that it will create a ripple effect. So he just did that. So I was very proud of him, and I was privileged to know him, and in the same time, you know, just giving us that example and giving us that a little hand. As painful the experience was, even though it took this kind of tragedy for us to learn, but now this is the direction that we're going. Again, as I said earlier, I'm not saying our original idea was nothing, or is not real, but that was half notion. That's the reason I said half notion, because it was a half of it. That's supposed to be the second part of, this foundation. Once you have the foundation of human being, then you can go and do the next part, which is, encouraging people to be successful, whether they want to do business, to be the best entrepreneur they want to be, having, teaching the young ones, the next generation, to be an excellent in everything that they do. Those are the things that we wanted to impact into trying to put on people. So that was the whole idea of it. So now we realize that, so we're saying that, we're gonna go through all the small things that we missed before. Things like, teaching people how to forgive, going through, teaching, when I say teaching, also learning, because Lord knows that we are not in a position just to teach people, but the whole idea of Limitless is to learn one another. And so, knowing how to ask people, and then putting our ego at the side. And those are the things that actually mattered more. So, saying that, and I apologize, I know I just kind of took you into a little bit of a sad story, but this was the reality that we faced. This was the reality. In order for us to actually do a proper job, and a proper, in order to pass the proper message, it needed this. So I'm hoping that I will be half the person he was, for me to continue the work that he did, to continue the work that he started, and for me to use his example, for me honor him through here and to continue. So the brand still is on the way, the clothing is on the way, but we're holding on to that a little bit, and then we're creating for an opportunity for people to talk about it. And at the same time, we have a lot of wisdom that we can tap into people, and there's so many people around us that we can actually talk to. This setting is going to change for probably another 2 more video or so. We'll do it from here, but after that, we'll bring in guests. The setting will go into a different place, and we'll bring in guests and we'll tap into their wisdom. And most of them are local people that are like us, who are trying to be a best human being that they can be, and most of them are trying to be successful and trying to break this stereotype of going from day to day, just slaving every day, and trying to break out of that. So we'll bring those people, we'll interview so many people. So I'm excited to see what the future holds, and I'm really excited the fact that you guys were willing to take the journey with me, and I'm hoping that you do that. And I just want to appreciate those people who actually, again, who backed us up and say, you can do it, and this is an amazing idea, this is an amazing plan. So that's what we're doing, and just look out for us. And if you like this video, I just want to say, make sure, don't forget to share and to subscribe. And then I know a lot of people say it, but if you don't press those bell notification buttons, the video doesn't come to you. It doesn't say just to you. It's like when we upload it. So we are hoping to do it every week. So this podcast, you will access it through, if you want to watch the video, you can do it through YouTube. If it's not, if you want to listen to it as you're driving, as you're going, as you're working out, whatever, you can access it from iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, and all those platforms. So we are trying to release it every week. I'm not guaranteed, just to point that out. I'm not guaranteeing that we'll do it every week, but we're gonna work really hard to be consistent and to put out a consistent content for you guys to participate in, to learn from it, and at the same time for you to teach us. And we are open for suggestion, and please don't stop the comments. And we are open for suggestion of guests that that you think that it will put in so much value into Limitless, into the people that are watching it or listening to it. So I'm excited for us to keep going. And again, thank you for this time, for the opportunity that you're giving us. So, and yeah, that's it. And I will see you next week, God's willing, if we can. And we're trying to grow from here. We're trying to impact a lot of people. So I'm excited for the journey that we're gonna have. I'm very excited for the lesson that we learned, that actually we can take it from here and then just even make it even more, and we impact even more people. So everything's, if you want to guys follow us in Instagram, Twitter, and then we're gonna also try to I almost forgot that we also try to host a room in Clubhouse, create a discussion. Thank goodness now even Twitter came up with the discussion room. So we'll choose probably on Clubhouse, but we're gonna try to do a room discussion, and every time when we post something, and then right after it, probably we'll set a date for us to open a room for people to either discuss about what they watched, whether they have a question or that they want to add more value into that, so on and so on. So thank you again. I love you all. And then until I see you next time, and be brave and be limitless. Thank you.
Like Ben Sim, put me in that dirty box, I come on like Fresh Prince. Blessing that I'm thankful for, barely even coughing. Big word, so it's easy to get lost in. Till I touch a M, I don't know the word exhausting. Till I touch a M, I don't know the word exhausting.